And developing first at 5, calls for change in Cuba growing louder across Miami-Dade County tonight. Protesters in West Miami-Dade taking to the streets, blocking the Palmetto Expressway for hours.
Further north along Okeechobee Road and 95th Street in Hialeah Gardens, big rigs blocked the streets for demonstrators demanding change be allowed to come in Cuba.
The ailing economy, a lack of food and medicine, and soaring COVID cases are just some of the issues that led to widespread protests on the island.
More than 100 people have been arrested or are missing, according to anti-government activists in Cuba. CBS 4 News crews are out among several protests tonight, and we begin our live team coverage with CBS 4's Peter Dent. She's live outside the Versailles restaurant. Peter.
Well, Lauren, protesters have been passionate on this third day of demonstrations. Right now, as you mentioned, they're live right outside the Versailles restaurant. They also took their protest to the Palmetto Expressway, blocking traffic. All this as Governor Ron DeSantis had some strong words. They've been demonstrating and marching through the streets of Miami in support of those calling for freedom in Cuba, where thousands protested on Sunday. Some took their protests from Southwest 8th Street to the Palmetto Expressway, where traffic was halted in both directions for a while between Coral Way and Bird Road. As they tie up the highway, the daughter of Cuban exiles, State Senator Ileana Garcia, pleads for help.
It's hard to watch what's going on in Cuba. Very hard, and we want things resolved now.
Garcia is joined by exiles, community leaders, and activists and elected officials at a roundtable discussion at the American Museum of the Cuban Diaspora.
They want an end to the regime. They don't want a reform of the regime.
They also hear from Governor Ron DeSantis, who says demonstrators want more than food, basic necessities, and vaccines.
They are revolting against a corrupt communist dictatorship that has ruled that island with an iron fist for over 60 years, that is responsible for death and destruction.
Republican Congressman Carlos Jimenez, a former mayor of Miami-Dade, was born in Cuba.
It is not about vaccines. It is not about food. It is about liberty. The Cuban people are fed up. We need to help the dissidents inside the island by giving them financial support.
Republican Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar also wants action taken.
It's in the hands of the Biden administration. We're all together, Republicans and Democrats, one voice. Americans helping the Cubans on the street.
Some say they are heading to Cuba. Monday night, we caught up with a large group at Pelican Harbor Marina, packing a boat with water, sodas, and supplies.
What we could take to help is good.
The U.S. Coast Guard is advising against taking boats to Cuba, calling the transit dangerous and unfortunate. In 1980, during the Mariel boat lift, 125,000 Cubans emigrated to South Florida. In 1994, 35,000 migrants came here during the Cuban rafter crisis. Now the elected officials say action must be taken now before Cubans start fleeing their island nation, as they did in 1980 and 1994. Meanwhile, the Cuban president is blaming U.S. sanctions and the embargo. Meanwhile, the protest shows no signs of letting up. We're live in Little Havana. Peter Dent, CBS 4 News.